Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Brett's Brain. Today we're going to talk about 3 red flags that show your startup might lack the ambition to be venture-backable. Hey, I'm Brett, former entrepreneur, current venture capitalist. Thanks so much for checking out the channel. Our goal here is to help entrepreneurs succeed. Make sure you share, like, subscribe, and ask us questions. How can we help you in your entrepreneurial journeys? Okay, venture-backable. What the heck does that mean? Well, one thing it means is you have to have a lot of ambition. And as a venture capitalist, one of the things we're looking for is really, really big exits. It might sound crazy, but we want you to go for it, like shoot for the moon. And honestly, we'd rather have you shoot for the moon and miss and fail than get us a 1x or a 2x and have a small exit. We need startups. The way the financials work, and I've talked about this in prior videos, the way the financials in our world works is we need a couple really, really big exits in each one of our funds. And if you don't shoot for it as a founder, you're definitely never going to get there. And we're really comfortable with founders that really try and go for it all and fail and go to zero. We will even finance them again in many cases. All right, so here's 3 red flags that we commonly see that kind of that make us hesitate around, how big are they actually going here? One of them is just a lack of hunger, and that comes through in interactions. And really one way we can kind of see that is how on top of your communications are you as a founder? If we ask you a question, how long does it take you to get back? Is it 24 hours? Is it 48? Is it a week? Do you follow up after meetings? Do you ask for introductions? How hungry are you? Does it come through? How much do you love your startup? How passionate about your product and the thing that you're solving are you? The more passion you have for your startup, the more likely you are to stick with it, which is a really hard thing to do and really give it a chance to get all the way to the end. Number 2 is financial projections. So for the earliest stage startups, the financial projections tend to be meaningless as far as like, what are you actually going to do? But they're not meaningless in a couple ways. One is that they help us understand where do you think your growth levers are? And what do you think you can put money into to grow the business? Second is, what's your ambition? Are you going to spend your money that we invest in you and try and go for it? Is there an eventual J-curve in your projections? Is the J-curve reasonable? Even, it still has to be reasonable. You can't go from $1 to $1 billion in revenue in a year. That's just not reasonable. But is there something that, it's a super stretch, but if it works, here's the levers we're going to pay to play and pay to drive revenue. But there is an eventual J-curve, and we want that. We're thinking about it. So financials can actually tell us as an investor, are you thinking big or not? And then the third red flag, that is the most common one that comes up all the time, is founders that talk about early exits. So we'll be in a pitch meeting and a founder say, hey, yeah, we think we can exit in 3 years because it's a super acquisitive space. And while that might be exciting to you and you might think that's a good thing, for us, it's actually not. For us, we want you to stick with it. We want you to grow and build the thing for 7, 8 years. And if you're already thinking about exit at the seed stage, man, you're going to take the first offer that comes across your desk. And you know what? Like, I have no problem with that. Like, if it's life-changing money for a founder, take it. It's just not a good fit for a venture capital fund. And so you might want to think about alternative ways of financing, talking to angels or other ways to finance the business. But if you want to get in bed with VCs, they want you to go all the way. They don't want you to take that early exit. There's always a number, for sure. But we want you to go for it. We want you to build that multi-billion-dollar company. So those are 3 red flags that we commonly see when we meet with founders that might show us that you don't quite have the ambition that is needed to be a venture-backable company.